up here as it started to rain upon all of us. So exciting day, and I thank him very much for stepping in last meeting when I got detained at the doctor's office. So thank you very much. Heard you did a fantastic job. So appreciate it very, very much. So I guess we'll just kind of get started here. So we'll call this meeting to order. And so right off the bat, approve the agenda. So has everyone had an opportunity to take a look at the agenda? Quite a bit of stuff on there. Should be a productive meeting today. So I approve it to move forward. And do I hear a second to approve the agenda and move forward?
Second.
Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from the meeting that Kim ran on May 27th? Are there any questions in regards to those minutes? Or any comments that anyone would like to make in regards to those minutes? Okay. So I would motion to approve the minutes. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, let's, as we always do, go around the room here and make our introductions. I think this is a time that's always well served. And if you want to expand on your name and where you're from, any short ideas that you want to discuss today, that would be totally fine also. So let's just go right around, start with on the left, Mike.
Yeah, Mike Bennett, Representative 3 from Hilton Head.
All right, Kim Corley, District 8.
Lawrence Bryan from the Pinewood area. I don't know what district it is.
Sally Dennis, District 7.
Bill Grainer, District 6.
Derek Hilton, Town Hutton.
Artrell Warren, Beaufort County Litter Control and Enforcement Officer.
Victoria Hoffman, Recycling Coordinator.
Caroline Dolby, Adopt a Highway Coordinator.
Cindy Carter, Solid Waste and Recycling Director.
And I'm Randy Bomey, and I'm District 9. I also would like to welcome Toria. It's I've heard so many good things about you. So I look forward. I hear about your enthusiasm and your great ideas. So thanks for being part of this important process as we push forward. So recycling is a big deal, and you got some experience and the energy. It's good stuff. I was talking to Dave Wilhelm, and he said, you're going to really like this person, because I can sometimes get a little enthusiastic, right, Cindy? So it's like, already, but it wasn't me at Walmart, so. So I don't really know if there is any public comment. Is any public comment?
We have not received any.
Okay, so how about as far as, does anyone have any updates as it pertains to meetings that you've had with your councilman or any councilman or anyone that is in a formal capacity for Beaufort County?
I had a conversation yesterday with Councilperson Howard. I sent emails out to both my council people, and she responded back, and we had a conversation with what some of her concerns are, and in particular, she has one about some subdivisions just outside of Port Royal, and with closing of the convenience centers, any possibility of getting municipal collection to some of these subdivisions. And the second part was really is yard waste and plastic bags.
Okay. Yeah, she's an environmentalist. She's kind of sort of on top of that stuff. So I had a meeting and had an opportunity to talk to one of the senior people in the county, and I suggested that there be a subcommittee of councilmen, councilwomen, and that maybe 5 or so get together and they specifically target environmental issues like that. I'm sure it probably will have to be brought up several times before it would be considered. But Alice is, she's a true champion. Brian, I mean, Chris, I mean, there's
She reiterated that Brian has some of the same problems because of closure of the convenience centers.
Yep.
And there's some subdivisions up in that area.
Yeah. So did she think that it increased just people throwing stuff out of the back of their truck littering?
We didn't get that far.
Okay.
We made contact with them, and she gave me a call yesterday, and we're gonna have some subsequent meetings.
Good, she's an awesome person, so.
The answer to your question, yeah, it has. It has increased. You know, people going down the road, stuff flies off the truck. They just keep on going. It wasn't as bad when the centers, with all the centers being open, it wasn't as bad before. And now that some of the centers closed down, it's gotten a little bit worse. And I can't, who gave me the sign to put in the,
Well, we all did, you know, I mean.
yeah,
and
well,
our trail
that
has
sign I
them
put
too.
in
Our trail did
front of my, right at the end of,
Bay Pines
yeah, and,
and Pinewood.
yeah,
So-
and that sign, believe me, it has, people would go through there flying, and now the sign catches their eyes, you know.
Well, if I may interject, just to answer both of your questions, I go out daily throughout the entire county, all 11 council districts. I've yet to see an increase in illegal dumping or littering. For the past 3 years now, especially just roadside litter, things that have blown off of trucks, things being thrown out of the window, have been probably better than this county has seen over the past 10 years. Especially on our major routes, you come from both from Hilton Head, Derrick, Bluffton, travel down 170. Y'all have to see the improvements.
278.
278.
Huge improvement.
For the area you mentioned, like Morales, we already have signs in that area. I don't know if you saw them. I saw where you placed yours right at the fire station, but we pick up that road a lot. Some of the problems you could have been seeing in that area where you have a trash hauler that has a station on that road. We've worked with them over and over to make sure their loads are secured, and they conduct litter pickups from the top of Shanklin Bay Pines all the way down to Laurel Bay.
Right. What I'm saying is, the individual, like I take my trash to the the convenience center myself. And some people, you know, what I see is some people, it's got about 2 weeks of trash or garbage, as you want to call it, on their trucks. And they go through there and I watch them. It flies off.
And you utilize the Shanklin Convenience Center, correct?
Yeah.
And this is things you're seeing on the back of trucks?
Yeah. I seen it before.
Well, I
But
can tell you-
people, I'm not criticizing.
No, absolutely not. But what I'm going to try and give you a solution. Tomorrow I will be out there and I will spend the next few weeks at Shanklin handing out tarps to continue to make sure people are tarping their loads. I mean, that's one way I'll fight that. Yes, sir.
Okay. But that's what I was saying. And then on the side of the roads, like you said, it's gotten better. But one of the things that I see, it's not from people not picking it up, is when I see these loads, they go off the truck, and the people know they go off the truck because they can see them. Instead of them stopping and picking it up or attempt to pick it up,
Yes, sir.
they just keep on getting.
Well, I'll definitely get out there with a truckload of tarps. When I see them come in, I'll give them a warning and a tarp, and if it happens again, they'll be ticketed. But I appreciate that, and I'm happy to hear that the sign is working. So we put them in some pretty problematic areas, smaller roads, residential roads, and I don't know, it's just something about the language of the sign that really catches people and, kind of deters them from littering. So I'm glad to hear it's working for you.
Yeah, cumulatively, I mean, I just can't get over 5 years ago where we were to where we are today, 20 groups to 110 groups. I mean, it made great strides. I occasionally see what you mentioned, Lawrence. And we have an app, we can email our trail, we have an app on our phones. There's a lot of mechanisms to address that in a pretty expeditious way. But overall, I agree with you, our trail. I mean, I think things are getting better, which is crazy because the volume of traffic is going way up. So the challenge is becoming greater.
Right.
And so that means, 2 + 2 = 4. So the fact is there's more traffic, there's more potential litter, and we have more people, more volunteers, but it seems like the litter's going down. I mean,
I believe it is, and it's very motivating to see where we are and how positively the DECAL system is impacting our county, and to know that the litter is not increasing. That was the #1 concern, and it has not changed. I still feel it's decreasing. And Lawrence, for, as Randy said, ways to report things. Last time you mentioned some stormwater issues. If you can, download the BC Connect app, and there's almost every category you would possibly need to file a complaint. And for me, for myself in solid waste, I handle them relatively very quickly, sometimes mostly the same day. So
Stormwater?
There's a stormwater
there is a stormwater category.
Okay. But
Not to get on stormwater stuff.
what I was gonna say to that is this particular stormwater that I'm talking about, I don't think it's the county, because I see the county riding around.
But still, put it in the BC Connect app, and someone from the county stormwater will get out there, they'll assess it, update you, and let you know if it's their problem or the state's problem.
Well,
It's still,
I think it's the state.
yes, sir.
But the reason I say that is because, like I say, this April that went by, I've been there for 39 years, and I see the county storm people. I see them riding around. I see them through the area. So when the water stops, flowing, and I took the pictures in the last meeting we had, it's still in the same place. In this last, 4 days of rain, those bad boys are out. You can hear them.
Download the app. You'll see an improvement, I'm sure.
Okay,
Somehow get it going for you.
okay.
Yes, sir.
I can attest to that. There was like a sofa and there was like a washing machine. This goes back months ago, but so I hit our trail and boom, within the week. So, I mean, that stuff was gone, all removed. So I remember the tires, remember that big tire?
Yeah, and the mattresses over the bridge.
Yeah,
Yes,
all
sir.
that stuff, yeah. So, communication. I wish that we could get York to attend more of our meetings. How do we do that, Cindy?
He was invited, and I know he has a very busy schedule. But when I send out the invitation to the whole board, we started to include him so that he'll have a reminder.
Okay, yeah. So do you think it'd help if I send him personal message and just say,
Sure.
man, we'd like you to be here to carry our message?
Absolutely.
Okay, that sounds good. Any other updates? With any of the councilmen or women or in administration or anything? Okay, let's go into the report section. So, Solid Waste and Recycling Monthly Report, May 21st to June 21st. Miss Cindy.
I think it's going to be probably in our best interest to jump to June. The May report is in your packet, as well as the June. But now that we're at the end of the fiscal year, it's kind of nice to talk about how much we've accomplished in this year. And I think, just to let you know, this is probably the most exciting June I've ever reported to you. I will say that in the county for the entire year, we generated 90,278 tons of waste in Beaufort County. I can also tell you that I'm gonna say because of the decal system. Our traffic numbers through the centers have dropped 319,572 vehicles. But this is the chart that I really want to talk about. If you'll look at and this is a graph, I presented this to public facilities on Monday. They're not familiar with your diagrams. This comes straight out of your board report. And so you know that each one of those bars represents a month. The blue is actually last year, and the red is actually this year. So if you look at July, August, September, we had an increase. We were, if I remember correctly, 5.5% increase on hauling costs. So we were over budget of what last year was by $47,000. We implemented a soft opening of this decal system, and look at January. We didn't turn anybody away at the centers, except contractors. A lot of people did opt to go to curbside service independently. But for the last 6 months of the year, just for hauling, we had a 30% decrease in cost. So $290,000 were saved in hauling costs in 6 months. So you balance that off with what we were over, our total hauling savings for the year, $243,841.
It's annualized for,
This is for this past year. We pulled 1,554 less containers out of the centers last year, over fiscal year 20. I am ecstatic.
Was there a forecast on that? Like, what did you guys think it was gonna be?
Didn't know.
Didn't know, yeah.
We
That's
really
what,
didn't know.
30%, right?
Well, I've been watching it.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be to June and be able to have a firm number, because everybody's like, well, what's the decal system doing? How much are you saving? You know, that's always the question. Well, we haven't even gone live yet. This is our tax dollars. So it's gonna work. Show it to you in a different format. There's the drop, just for cost.
so that went over big on Monday, I would imagine.
Yeah. All right, disposal's a little bit different. A disposal, obviously, you remember, not only are we paying for disposal from the convenience centers, we're also paying for curbside residential disposal because Beaufort County does not have a landfill. So, but you still see savings here. The first 6 months of the year, we were over budget $265,000 in disposal costs. But since January, we had a 6% decrease, so we saved $106,000. So we're getting there. It's just, we concentrate on the convenience centers first, get them right, then we'll look at this.
So, but a decrease, so the decrease has gotta be coming out of the convenience centers? That's where the decrease in
I think that's
residential?
your.
I mean, it's gotta be.
I think that's your contractors.
Yeah, it's gotta be, because
And I don't know that we've
residents
run
have
them all
increased.
out, but I think, because now each vehicle stops, it gives our attendants a chance to look and to ask questions if something doesn't look right, and that's been a big help. I will also remind you that we are still down 25% of attendance. So whereas your restaurants and some of those are having a employee issue, we are having one as well.
Is there a particular area where you're showing more of a drop, decrease? If it's sound,
I've just gotten these numbers, so I haven't really gotten that far into the weeds, but I will. I really kind of expected to be at Hilton Head and Bluffton.
That's why my dumpster's filling up.
And just the interjection with contractors.
I'm increasing pools, but.
But the amount of people that we've turned away, not just contractors, but in the Bluffton area, Georgia residents that are commuting into Beaufort County to work, Jasper County residents also. So we've turned a lot of them away to belong with contractors.
And we'll talk a little further about decals on into the meeting, but I thought these are some pretty, and one more chart. You can see the the disposal's a little bit not as defined as the hauling, but the savings are there.
It's a profound impact, no doubt.
It is,
Just a
in
decal.
6 months' time.
Yeah, just a decal.
I just have a question in general. Are trucks able to carry multiple permits for different municipalities?
I don't understand the question.
A truck collecting in Beaufort County,
Oh, like
is
residential
it
curbside?
dedicated? Yeah, is it dedicated?
Mm-hmm.
They cannot have another permit on the truck?
They will get a permit from us as Beaufort County. When they go across the scale at the landfill, they identify where that load came from. So if you're the driver, you say, I came from the city of Beaufort. And the next driver would come in and say, I'm from Hilton Head. So it's kind of the honor system, which is kind of what I was talking about. Let us get the convenience center straight, and then we'll move on to the next piece of the puzzle. The other good news from the June report was recycling. Not all markets are up, but a few of them are coming back a little, especially the metal. If you look at, remember we just had a new contract with Charleston Steel. The metal prices are up. So we took in $225,000 worth of revenue, but you can see it's basically coming from Charleston Steel, revenue. Gel, we're still in the red, that's our newsprint.
What was Sunoco? Is that cardboard?
Sunoco is our cardboard, and we have office paper that they'll take as well. We bale it and it goes straight to market, so it's not even going to their facility. Here's the waste management MRF charges, and if you remember from years ago before China Sword, we were seeing this as a revenue, but because the market went down, then we were having to pay the balance. So this year, the balance turned out to be, we came out to the good $32,000. And we were able to stay within that $880,000 contract. So all of this is good news.
Great news.
Okay, good question. When you're talking about waste management, MRF, you're really talking about the landfill facility?
The transfer facility that they have, yes.
Again, in my perspective, I don't consider that to be a MRF.
That's just that's their name, not mine. That's all for now.
Great, thank you. Job well done, Cindy, wow.
But that feels good.
It does
After all
feel
that
good.
huge battle, you know, and people, and you're like, I'm telling you, it's gonna work, it's gonna work.
So Eric giving you a great big raise, right?
I didn't say that. Sometimes a good pat on the back works wonders.
Ice cream party.
Okay, as we move forward, recycling coordinator report.
Just a few updates. Caroline Dolby and I, the volunteer coordinator, we visited a local summer program. We presented our rerun animation presentation. We educated the kids on recycling and litter control importance. Going back next month for a recycled art activity for the kids, just one of our ways that we're getting out in the community, educating about recycling and other sustainability efforts. We recently provided compost bins to the Oldfield community. They have a community garden and we felt like they would benefit from compost bins. So this is an initiative that we're working with the South Carolina DHEC's Don't Waste Food campaign. So the goal is to divert the food waste from the landfill and then they're going to compost that and use it in their garden. I also presented a Compost 101, kind of a how-to training to the Oldfield community. In the future, we're looking forward to also hosting that among Beaufort County residents, hopefully at the libraries and other public facilities. And then we are currently in the process of finalizing an application for a mini grant. This is funded through South Carolina Department of Energy. We're hoping to acquire the funds to purchase an electric ATV for our litter control crew. And this will be one of the first efforts to be more sustainable and have an electric fleet. And this will also cut fuel and maintenance costs for fleet services when you transition to electric.
Have you approached Sun City at all on food waste?
We would like to.
In particular, the 3 restaurants that we have?
I'm more than happy to go to Sun City. My next on the docket is to go to Kalawasi, but if you want to get my information, I'd be more than happy to go to Sun City. Our goal is to go throughout the county and get more people diverting food waste. That's another way that we can divert waste from the landfill if we can compost that food waste. It's a really great initiative.
Of course, Sun City also has multiple growing fields. I think it's 3 or 4 areas that people can use for growing food and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we're interested in, and composting, community gardens, anything that we can do to be more sustainable and divert any type of waste that we can from the landfills.
On these electric vehicles from the grant, are they gonna install electric charging stations?
So this grant is a mini grant, and we are proposing to buy an ATV, all-terrain vehicle, the side-by-sides that you see. A lot of people use them for hunting. Currently, our litter crew has 2, one gasoline-powered and one diesel-powered UTV that they use for their litter collection. And this UTV is really great. It already will be using the AC adapters that you already find, like here behind you, you've got that wall outlet. So all we would have to do is get an extension cord and already use a pre-existing outlet to charge it.
Okay, that answers that.
And it's really low maintenance. The only thing that you have to maintain is that battery, and they have a good battery life, about 8 to 10 years, as long as you take care of them.
Do they have available solar panels too?
You can, I'm sure that you can hook up a solar powered way to charge it. I tried. So yeah, it's a really great initiative. We're hoping to get that award.
I would recommend you reach out to the Surge Group.
The what?
The Surge Group, since they're kind of one of the main folks who owns multiple restaurants in Hilton Head.
Okay,
Bluffton.
Surge,
The Surge Group.
okay.
They're kind of one of our biggest restaurant owners, operators that we have.
The only problem is where would you do the composting site?
That would be something, yes.
Yeah, currently we have the bins where we're not really doing the composting, you are. To have a compost facility, there are DECAL regulations and all kinds of permits. that we
Pulling
have to
food
get.
gets very tricky.
Yeah.
When you get into it, you really have to be into it.
But that group is very progressive, and I think that'd be something they can use as a marketing for them.
For sure, and we would love to partner with them.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to do like a pilot program where you were able to collect and had a site where you could compost, they would be a great target for that. Hospital too.
I do know in the
Any of
past we
schools,
have done
hospitals.
a pilot program with composting with the schools. So I'm definitely interested and excited to start down that avenue again.
I got a quick question about
Once you
MSG.
move up though into that scale of surge groups,
Yeah.
it becomes totally different.
It's a big animal. Yeah, it can be. The glass crusher, I don't know who
I'm good at that.
you are. Okay. All right.
Something I'd like to bring up is education. So I'm so pro informing people of what they need to do and how they need to handle recyclables. So I don't know if it would be something that we would go to the school board and ask for permission to go into the schools. I will give my time and energy and do whatever is necessary. But there's just so much information, disinformation that floats out there, like throughout Palmetto Bluff. I mean, we recycle, but it doesn't get recycled. I feel really passionate about that because it's just an area that if we can teach our kids and they can take materials home to their parents, we're going to get a head start on this. Very, very important issue. I brought it up to Cindy to put onto the agenda today, but it to be something that you guys would kind of sort of have to tell us, brainstorm and tell us where can we make the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time, build the foundation so that we can move forward. And I don't know if it'd be the school districts, I don't even know where we would turn. It'd be the superintendent that asks for permission that we put an organized group together, that we would visit schools, hand out materials. I don't know.
Well, in the past, and Victoria, she's new and she's taken it with both feet. However, we did have an environmental liaison group from the school district at one time. So she's going to have to go back out, get in touch with those people and try to get that going again. So I think that's going to be the best, as you'd say, bang for the buck.
Yep, I've already started the ball rolling on gathering information and attendees for the environmental liaison. And I've already started to contact other schools. I've already went to DeFusky and contacted them and let them know that we are definitely interested in getting into the schools and educating them on the importance of recycling, sustainability, and litter control.
And Randy, that's a really good point, because the other level of that is the education, but the trick is, what are you educating on? Because right now we have no standard, and without a standard, what are you going to educate to? Every hauler can haul different things. Every hauler, will say different things. They'll have different labels and stuff. So it might be worth visiting and putting some sort of group together to create, working with Waste Management, obviously the recovery facility, and anybody else that has a vested interest in it, to create a county standard so that you can train to that county standard, and then implement that as the thing. That way,
Yes.
because that just adds to disinformation. If you go out and tell everybody one thing and then the hauler comes behind and says, oh no, I can take that, whether they can or can't.
Yes, we do have curriculum provided by DHEC. However, because how you said the haulers and different vendors, they have their own criteria. So the curriculum that we have provided by DHEC doesn't go into the logistics of regarding which haulers do what. It's more along the lines of, we recycle and this is why. These are the environmental benefits. Basically teaching kids the environmental reasons as to why we're doing this, not the technicalities of, what you do with each of your materials.
And I think some of those educational part you can tie to stormwater, because obviously one affect the other. So a lot of this, I think you can probably tie it in with the schools as far as drainage. Here's why, and here's why recyclable is good, instead of getting up in it. And I guess you can actually tap into some of their funds as far as educational. I know the municipalities has a ton of funds tied up with stormwater just because of the tax, so it can be a joint venture. I would look at it that way.
Well, that's a good lead into our next slide and
Segue.
No, I'm sorry.
If you don't mind.
And I didn't read that off of here.
One more thing on education, and it drives me crazy with definitions. And I mentioned it once before, and I kind of have to mention it again. We keep talking about convenience centers, class 3 waste, MSW. There are definitions of municipal solid waste from EPA to the state, and I don't think that it's consistent with the way we're using it at convenience centers. MSW is residential, commercial, industrial, institutional. We don't have commercial, institutional, and industry coming into the convenience centers. So therefore, MSW is not a proper terminology for what we're receiving. So from a standpoint of education, when somebody speaks, I think we should be all addressing the same, no, this is residential solid waste, it's not municipal solid waste. In reading a lot of the reports flying around, it talks about municipal solid waste, but then doesn't really talk about municipal solid waste. I think using it, we should use the proper definitions. The state goes one step further, talking about total solid waste. So C&D is not municipal solid waste. Car crushing plants and recycling are not municipal solid waste. They're part of total solid waste, sludge, and other things. So I just wish that we would kind of get our terminology straight.
When I first came to Beaufort County, they had simplified it into class 3, class 2, class 1, so that I think they were trying to avoid the general public having to understand those definitions. So class 3 was always the residential waste, class 2 was your construction and demolition, and class 1 was your yard waste. So if you go to the centers, that's usually the terminology that they're using for that. And I think that was done prior to me coming, but it seems it's easy for people to put things in the right containers when you simplify.
But speaking publicly and stuff, coming from education background, you really have to educate people, especially if you're talking to children, to know the difference between things. And my agency, we had MRF, we had landfills, we had wasteful energy, and not only did they get presentations in school, they actually had class tours, which is a real education, eye-opening for young people.
We have to get there soon.
But I go crazy on definitions, especially as they're used in technical reports, and they're not right. No.
But
Using it for convenience here should not be the same as using it in an actual technical report.
Commonality, so that each definition is the same. It's kind of sort of what you're striving for, so.
Well, they are. EPA has defined municipal solid waste. South Carolina has defined municipal solid waste, and they are very kind of specific definitions. Some latitude on either side, but convenience center is not municipal solid waste because you want to keep commercials, industrial out. So it's residential solid waste, it's not municipal solid waste, and it's not C&D. So just putting out things on paper that have different meanings, kind of.
We are currently working with our legal staff to look at our ordinance and take care of some of that
Yeah,
issue.
because no, we use municipal solid waste, there is no definition in the ordinance of municipal solid waste. But yet, so that just things that bug
Well,
me.
you'll be glad to know, we really did just review it. Cindy saw that there needed to be some changes made. You know, she didn't put the first one in place, so we all had to review them.
We've been on this
Each
about
had
3
a part
weeks.
that we had to take,
I'm sorry.
go over it carefully,
Longer than
make
that.
changes, bring them to her. She had to prove, I mean, we've been through a process of looking through that ordinance to make it.
Because when I came aboard, I kind of looked at it and was wondering on what people are calling things that are inconsistent between different documents.
And you're right, it should be right.
Yeah. How you use it is one thing, but especially your ordinance has to use it right. I spent a lot of time in litigation, and that's how you win
Right.
litigation.
Right.
More good news that I wanted to share with you. The grants were a little bit late this year. We did not get them to the very end of June, but we were awarded the grants for oil. That was supplies for our convenience centers and some education. The solid waste and reduction and recycling grant, we got the entire grant request for that. It's 2 pieces to go along with continuing education in all these programs. But we had the glass crusher at Public Works South. It still needed a little bit of adjustment, so the grant's gonna cover that. But what I'm most excited about is with the decal system going in, we had a couple of small businesses that generate a lot of cardboard. And obviously they can't come into the facility with a decal system. So we put together a proposal to the state of having a pilot program for probably 20 different small business where we're gonna supply a container to them and put them on a route to pick up their cardboard. And in turn, they'll agree to our ordinance 38, the codes, to maintain, this was something that Caroline was very passionate about, keep the litter off of your property. You know, in other words, kind of like a standalone volunteer group. So we'll come and get your cardboard, we'll recycle it for you, and in turn, you make sure the litter around your business is maintained. So we're gonna try it and see how far we get, but I was really excited that was approved. And then our tire grant is basically that's education recycling. So I'll be working with Victoria and we'll come up with some new campaigns about tire recycling because we don't want our trail finding anything on the side of the road. And if you hadn't already remembered, September 11th is the next electronics recycling event at both locations.
And Bluffton and here?
At Bluffton and Shanklin, yes, sir.
Okay.
So the grants, you're happy with the grant amounts?
Yes, we had one ask that we did not receive, and that was to remove the tanks from Gate and Pritchardville and put them at another location. As luck would have it, we'd already had to move one on our own expense, so we will fund moving the other one.
Okay, good. Good.
So as a recycling hauler, the cardboard program, right? Why didn't those folks go with a private hauler?
In some areas, and the two that I remember talking with personally on the phone were in City of Beaufort, and the contract that they had with the City of Beaufort did not include recycling.
There's no option for another party to come in and put a dumpster in?
If they have the room. I think the one that we also talked about in Bluffton, they were having problems with having any kind of container outside. I don't know if it's because they were in a strip mall and there wasn't really room. So what we proposed for this grant was just those smaller roll carts, like Quinn now services all of our office buildings and the libraries. And so he has 3 routes. Victoria probably can explain this more. He has routes Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And so every 2 weeks, he comes to, say, this building or my building and takes the recyclables away. So we thought that process would probably work with some of these very small businesses to take their, I mean, we're not talking a huge amount, but as we took away maybe some of them using the centers that weren't supposed to be, we still wanted them to be able to recycle their cardboard. One was a running shoe store, I think.
It's private versus public. You start crossing into that realm.
Right.
And that changes the game. I mean, Hilton went through that whole process,
This is strictly a pilot program. We're going to see how it goes. And they have to give to us too. So.
Okay, moving forward, I think Caroline, you're up.
Am I now?
Okay, I'm Caroline Dolby, Adopt a Highway Coordinator, and I'll give you an Adopt a Highway update. But really, like we talked about earlier, you can just judge it by we've had consistently cleaner roads for the last couple of years, and that is a fact. But to date, we've picked up 3,583 bags of litter. We have 2,000 recorded volunteers and 2,800 volunteer hours donated to litter pickup. So I'm sure that itself is a huge savings for Beaufort County tax dollars. We have planned an Adopt a Highway meeting for Tuesday, October 5th at noon at the Rotary Community Center at Oscar Fraser Park. This is an annual event. It was canceled last year. We're really looking forward to it. The volunteers are really looking forward to getting together. You all will be invited if anybody would like to attend, if you'll just RSVP. I'm pleased to announce that one of the guest speakers will be our County Administrator, Eric Greenway, and Council Chairman Joe Passament has agreed to speak as a representative to Beaufort County. Of course, I think they both realize how important these volunteers are to the well-being of Beaufort County. One other item to share, we just submitted 9 applications to the Keep South Carolina Beautiful Awards. We will know the results. Myself and our trail will be attending a Litter Association conference from September 6th to the 9th. So we fared well last year. We won 7 of the 9 awards.
Fared well.
So
We did
we're
just
hoping for the same results. Although because we won, they've kind of changed around the format. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that, but we tried to work within, their parameters. So are there any questions?
You know, when are they scheduling, SCDOT, when are they doing their mowing on 46?
They have one coming up. It's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, I can email it to you. It should be starting in a few days.
Yeah,
gotta-
they do,
we're gonna clean up
Yeah,
this
I'll be
soon. I wanna
getting
make
that
sure I'm
out.
across.
I'll get that out. Actually, when I get back, I'll get that out. We just got another one.
Thank you.
Because,
Sorry.
a lot of it is growing out there and folks, are waiting or they want to go ahead. So it's not a confetti parade, but you'll be notified.
It's a good camouflage, though.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
It's a good camouflage. Very good camouflage. Because your area looks tremendous.
Yeah.
When I went down the road, I don't think there was anything there.
That's because it's all grown.
And imagine, a couple years ago, it was just horrible.
26. There's been
It's disgusting.
They're starting on the 26.
26, okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, I think Artrell, are you up next? Thank you, Caroline.
I'll be short today, so. So I'll get right in for our litter crew so far this year. We're at 2,686 bags of litter picked up. It equals out to a little over 67,000 pounds. A lot of those numbers come from our annual cleanup event that we have. And moving forward from that, we recently acquired a dump trailer. We have not got the dump trailer yet, but came from some grant money that we put in for. So that's gonna make our litter crew a lot more efficient. We spend a lot of time going back and forth. The truck's overloaded. We wanna make sure our stuff is properly secured. So we have to leave bags on the side of the road, dump, and come back and get those things. So that'll cut down on that, and we'll be able to get a lot of larger bulk items instead of bringing out a massive truck to get some things. So we look forward to using those. And another big announcement from grant money we received also, we were able to get a couple of kayaks. So we're in the process of getting those wrapped with our Keep Our Waters Clean slogan and putting the county seal and the rerun character on it. So we'll be able to get out there in some of the tighter marshy areas and do some litter pickups and hopefully be able to participate in some of the kayak cleanups that are hosted throughout our county. So look forward to it.
Those dump trailers are great billboards too.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Already thinking about it. So what can we do? And just like Caroline spoke last time about the Palmetto Breeze advertisements we have going on, so it works. Those signs, as long as you got the right language, it works. Something that hits home. So look forward to it. Thank y'all.
Thanks for all you do, Artrell. Okay, discussion items. Convenience Center decal program update.
I'm gonna come do these real quick.
Yeah.
We have currently issued 48,725 decals. Some of those are not new. As you know, so many people are buying and selling houses these days. That includes the ones that we've had to deactivate because somebody's moved and somebody new has moved in. So Angel Marcinkowski, she has been working nonstop every day trying to get this over and done. We started this whole program in October of last year. It looks like we're gonna end it in October of this year. So, I wouldn't have thought it would take this long to roll it out, but if it's working in the meantime, I'm okay with that. Here's what we're gonna do next. Starting August 1st, we're gonna have a 3-month program. If you come into the center and you still do not have your decal, maybe you applied. Maybe you applied and you were a renter and you didn't know that we're not going to give you a decal. We have one basket of we can't do anything with. What I really want to capture is if we have some heirs properties where we do have families living there, there's on one parcel, there may be 8, 10, 12 trailers. We want to make sure these people get a decal, each one of them. So we're gonna have a 3-month rollout program. There'll be a press release on this, but this is kind of just a snapshot. Instead of just the blank postcard, these are gonna be color coded. So this month will be green, think of a traffic light. Next month will be yellow, and by October, it's red. After November 1st, you come in the convenience center, you're gonna get a scan, either from this temporary card or your real decal, so that we can process every last one. This is gonna work a little differently. This is gonna have a decal on the back, so everybody that comes to the center now will have something scanned. This green is only gonna be good through August. If you have a green and you still don't have a decal, you come in September, you have to fill it out again with yellow. I'm telling you, we've gotten some crazy information on some of these cards. But some of them we want. In fact, I processed 2 yesterday, brand new. Don't know why they didn't go online, everything populated, it was simple. We are still gonna try to send everybody to do it online, but if you want this opportunity, this is being given to you. And then by, like I said, October, this will turn into a red card. That's your last chance. And then after November 1st, you have a decal and we're gonna rock and roll.
Now, the one thing, you know, there are some people in the area, it's good to go online and do your thing, but there are some people in the area that don't have them.
That's why we're doing this.
Okay, that answered that question. Okay.
That's a great idea.
Was there ever a thought, I don't know if there's logistically it's even possible, but maybe having the school kids at the USCB come out here and actually set up a kiosk?
We offered that up to especially our rural
Yeah.
councilmen, that we'd be glad to mobilize and be there.
Yeah.
They thought this would probably work better, because you've got so many people that are working during the day, getting there in the right days and times. We don't want to miss anybody. But everybody has the opportunity of going to that link if they have the means and doing it themselves. Because this obviously, we have to manually do each one of these. But that's how we started. And 48,000 later, we're still going strong. So this is our hope that this will be a warning to those, and our trail can tell you, until we really stop it, they're still trying to come in. So.
And you guys, I've done it, and I forgot my pass when it first happened. I didn't have it. I mean, all sorts of stuff. And I'll tell you, the folks, the staff at those places have been fantastic. Very easy, been fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, hey, you just start, making sure you have this stuff. But it was an easy process. They didn't make it difficult at all.
There's one sticker for each address, and you also get an electronic version on your email or to your smartphone. And so many people now are not even using the sticker. They're just holding up their smartphone, the attendant can scan, and off they go. If you forget, you can't find it on your phone, you can go back online, click the button yourself, and have it resent to yourself. So there's a whole list of help me questions. And so we've tried to take all the questions that we've gotten from phone calls and walk-ins, and we're finally here. So we hope this is the last step to hopefully a very successful program. I think I probably mentioned to you, we actually presented this to Carolina Recycling Association a couple of months ago, and we've gotten a lot of calls from other states trying to talk about replicating this program. So sometimes if you put a little extra work in up front, it'll pay off in the end. Yes, sir.
Just out of curiosity, I'm a small business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a decal because I live in the county. And I come in my pickup truck with all of my commercial waste. Is there any way to differentiate?
If you come in a commercial truck, and a lot of people have tried that, they have a decal because they got one, they live in the county. But they come in a commercial truck with different stickers on it. The way our ordinance reads is you're limited as a commercial contractor to 2 bags of household trash. So they would not be allowed to dump. As we're reading and trying to edit and update our ordinance, the existing ordinance is very good.
Great.
So
I mean, that's phenomenal. I love how you're ending it with the green and the yellow and the red, and I mean, everybody should get it. So, you want to keep going with the RFP on recyclable services?
Yes, the RFP for recyclables was awarded on June the 30th. It was approved by council. I think it was still pending at our last meeting. We are in the process now of negotiating our final contract and sending it to legal for signature with some of, and I want to thank Bill and Kim for sitting on the review team. Thank you very much for your input. So as they know, there were some things in the bid that during negotiations, we just said, we're not going to do this, and that'll be an exhibit as
So
part
this
of the
was an
contract.
award for the time period or a separate one-year extension?
This is for the new contract under that new proposal, and it's only going to be for 2 years. Because obviously, we still have anticipation of coming back to a MRF for the county. Which then kind of leads us into the next item on the agenda.
Can I just, all I can recommend is if there is ever another bid document prepared, that it be realistic. This one addressed transport, recycling, processing, marketing, which nobody could really respond to other than a bunch of gobbledygook response. No. If it's developed, prepare it specifically for what you really need, and it really cuts down on evaluating one for the other. No. If you're not recycling yourself, no. Tell us where you're taking it to. So the way it was written, nobody could be responsive to it.
Did you talk to all applicants? What were there, a total of 6? 8, I forget.
Seven?
We had a total of 7. Only 3 were complete, or it's complete. It wasn't just hauling. Some of them were just haulers.
Okay.
And then we actually went through and did the calculations to see, because it was an RFP, which is pricing, to see what the numbers came out to be.
Okay.
So.
Okay, good. Good, thank you.
Sure.
Gotta keep
WESTON
going.
and SAMPSON. We have gotten, as of the 21st, a draft sustainability campus proposal. It's being looked at internally, and that's about all I can tell you right now.
So the rumor mill that I have heard is that the new commanding general at the base,
Which base?
Marine,
PI?
yeah,
Okay.
that there is a significant piece of property that he is willing to discuss leasing for like nothing for a period of time, that would allow a sustainability campus to be constructed. Have you heard any of that?
I have.
Okay. I didn't know. Sometimes you hear things and it's like,
I hear a lot of things too.
yeah, and it's like, I don't know. That just,
Are they looking at something other than brownfield sites?
Yes.
The original
Yes.
Weston
Dave?
Yes.
report?
This report had several criteria, if I remember, and I can't speak specifically. I want to say there were 15 maybe different parcels that could be under consideration. Obviously, from a staff review standpoint, we know that the population is on the south side of the county. Transportation is one of your biggest costs, and so we'll have to review accordingly. But I hope that in the next meeting that we will have something that we can bring and discuss to the board. But like I said, that draft just came in on the 21st.
that's awesome.
I also wanted to let you know that you'll hear some talk about hauler registration. For the month of July, we only have 1 more week left. That's not to be confused with the DECAL system for the convenience centers. This is your normal permit for our residential haulers to take trash to the landfill. they have to register with us or we're not gonna pay the bill. So if they don't have their decals by August the 1st, they'll be paying their own tipping fees. But that's every year. And then I think we get to yours.
Good.
Well, you were up there,
Yes.
bring me or us up to date on the solid waste management plan?
Solid waste management plan to me right now is, there's been so many irons in the fire that I had sent our consultant a note to say, I haven't forgotten you. But there's two pieces that have come into play that I want to make sure are captured. One is obviously this sustainability plan. And obviously the second one would be, there's a 2040 comprehensive plan that I've just flipped through and tried to digest a little bit. And I want to make sure that those two documents, because the solid waste management plan update is not only to update what we're doing in Beaufort County, it's a vision of the next 20 years. So if we've got some changes that are coming, then I think it should be reflective of that. So it's not on hold, it's not on stop, it's just temporary pause until, I'm only one person.
I was surprised that reading the comprehensive plan relative to solid waste, how narrow it was relative to implementation. It took me back. Same as the WESTON report was supposed to be a preliminary feasibility, yet it's coming out with conclusions. To me, that's scary. So I don't know if one side is driving something, or to me, looking at comprehensive or feasibility reports, you don't come out with a set of recommendations. It's to do further study. So I was surprised at the comprehensive report. I sat in on initial meetings of that and how they came out with it from what input was given. There's something else, to me, there's something else driving the bus.
And we're still reviewing. Any other questions?
No? Nope, I do not. We're all the way down to number 17, and this comes back to something that I brought up earlier, the implementation of educational requirements for recyclables. I don't know if it's possible, so I guess we would like to get Victoria's opinion on this, and Caroline and Cindy. Is there any way a mini committee or some organization can be put together of volunteers that would just focus on helping you with the education of recyclables and how to handle them?
Good
Because
idea.
it's just, I mean, you guys got so much you're doing. So, and I know I would be the first to raise my hand and offer time, and probably everybody in this room would. So,
Go into the schools and help
Yeah.
out with what you're saying. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, that's a great
I would
idea.
defer back to the fact, and you're the perfect person to understand that there is another board, the Keep Beaufort County Beautiful Board, and they have an education committee. So rather than that actually being driven so much with this board, you'd be a great
okay.
Right.
mediator between the two. But remember, one of the committees that they're talking about is going back to the education committee for that board.
Yep.
And Victoria will be very involved with that.
Good.
I would kind of suggest is developing curriculums for grammar school, high school, civic groups, and they obviously would be at different levels, but developing the curriculum so that teachers are able to use it as part of their classroom work or
The Middle
that's
Pride State Organization
That's
does
already
have
been
it.
developed.
Yeah.
It's called
Yeah.
Action for a Cleaner Tomorrow. And so we
But
can
developed
develop,
specifically
it's
for the
already
county?
been developed so that the school system can get credit or accreditation for giving those classes.
but no, tailoring it to Beaufort County specifically.
Oh, our specific vendor
Yeah.
requirements.
I mean, this is where they're living and growing up. You should develop it specifically for here, but okay, use their curriculum, but tailor it at different levels so it can be used for different.
Yeah, our current
Activities.
program does have specific information regarding what we collect at our convenience centers. But of course, when you go branch out into different municipalities, there are exceptions.
Well, I'm saying, that may be too specific.
Yeah,
And you
tailored
know,
to each group.
when I've gone out in the past and done educational things, just to tailor something, you know, the effect of litter, you know, in our low country setting. So I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with some great methods to grab our local children.
For sure.
Well, that's why when we go in, we have a personalized program. We don't use really the curriculum. We go in for an hour, we want to educate, grab their attention, we do different activities, and it's all based on Beaufort County.
My suggestion is go in with a big box of different materials and let them sort it.
We do.
She does?
Yeah, it's our
I take it
recycle.
back.
Yeah.
It's our recycle race. So
I'm
we
sure,
do.
Mike, you do the same, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that's the best. It's really is.
They love
Check
it.
it out.
It's a great
I like to
hands-on
grab their
activity.
trash in there.
Yeah.
Let's go check out your trash. Like I said, I'd love to help. We do it all the time. We work with the schools, you know, we do career days and stuff. And so I would rather work in conjunction. That goes back to having that standard, you know, work in conjunction than to do it separately, because separate, there can be a miscommunication of message, so.
So the suggestion would be to merge a few of us with Keep Beaufort County Beautiful and try to come up with some committee, or are you
Would it be
envisioning?
helpful to get, at least provide you guys with the link for the Action for Cleaner Tomorrow? So you know what programs are available in what age groups, and then go from there of how we can get that out, which I think will probably be Victoria getting this environmental liaison group up and running again, because those teachers can actually get continuing education units for coming to the 1 hour session with Victoria, and then they take that back to their schools. And they also have to coordinate with Robert Otting, who is in charge of that school piece, because you know most of the teachers are wanting to know what kind of bins can I have, and they pay their own bills for that. So they have to have their own say-so. So, but yes, I think we should definitely get that program up and going again.
For sure. I came in at the tail end of the school year, but prior to the teachers leaving, I did meet with a teacher from Hilton Head Christian Academy, and she wanted me to work with her on just diverting their waste, getting a green team in their school. So I did come in at the tail end of that, but I am excited to start the next school year and just reach as many kids as possible. The cradle to grave recycling sustainability is really important to implement that young, so they grow up knowing this is what I do. I mean, I grew up in North Carolina. I remember the recycle guys. Maybe that's why I'm here today. So really excited to get in there and just really educate them on the importance of all these topics.
On a side note, I love teaching kids. Kids fundamentally get it. Like adults overthink it. Kids, like they understand, I take on this responsibility. I need to be responsible until the end, you know, and it's very easy to communicate.
For sure.
They understand it, you know.
They simplify it.
They simplify it. They're like, oh yeah, I need to make sure I study the right
Yeah,
thing.
my son always is telling me about shorebirds, and I'm like, don't chase them. They need to conserve their energy.
This is true. So, well, on that subcommittee or whatever it might be called between these boards, so I would like to participate. And anyone else here, I think you got a strong team behind you. So
Yeah, I've got some cards I'll put out, and then we can collaborate, see what we can do.
awesome. Okay, so public comment. We don't really have any public here, so I don't think we really need to worry about the public comment. So how about any of you have requests?
I do. I got, I think, you know, looking back at that contract, for full disclosure, I put a bid on that RFP. But I do think it's important. I'm not sure that everybody knows. We didn't see the RFP. The board didn't see the RFP. So I think it would be really interesting, though, to get Waste Management in here to make a request for them to come in. And I think it's important that we all are very aware of what their future plans are, what they currently do, so that we understand, you know, where that recycling is going, what's going on with the process, the fact that that's not a MRF. It's a transfer station. It's commonly misconstrued. I think there's a lot of...
I mean, they even said it was on Hilton Head.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think this board could stand to learn quite a bit of how the process here actually works as a partner with Waste Management. So I'd like to make a request that we call Waste Management to just come in and tell us about their business and how it functions as a partner with Beaufort County. Is that possible?
I think that would be great.
I can certainly invite them.
Field trip.
I'd probably say let us get this contract signed.
Yeah, right, right.
It's got to get to our legal
Yeah.
staff first, and you most certainly can do that.
It might put a little heat on them if you call them first. I'm kidding.
Are there any other requests out there? Okay, so that would bring us to adjournment, so I ask for a second on adjourning today's meeting.
Second.
It's a good meeting, you guys. Thank you very much. We're going to get back together on September the 23rd, same room, 2 p.m. And let's utilize email more than we're utilizing it today, and talk to one another when we have things like Lawrence or Trell. I mean, all that stuff. I'd like to be included in how this is all playing out, because I didn't realize what you had going on in your concerns. So as a board, it would be really nice for us to know, like for you to know what's going on May River Road compared to 5 years ago. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people say thank you. And it's like, I don't even know who these people are, but they kind of sort of say thank you because, they get it and they have been here and all of your efforts. So, and Caroline, you are doing such a phenomenal job. I see 2 more signs up. So a new group to the left on May River Road. So I think it's Hanson Development.
Group, yeah.
So, and it just continues. So your number right now is 110, is that correct?
Yep, and then we just added the Rose Hills doing 278.
That's just fantastic
That
and all
helps.
that. Yeah, so with nothing else, I guess, on the agenda, we'll go ahead and dismiss for today. And thank you, everyone, for coming. And again, thank you for handling last meeting.